Accountability is a major problem within the African continent. In fact, governments across Africa are focused on collecting huge sums of money as loans year in, year out. The loans which are collected are supposed to be used to develop their countries, to ensure good governance, and to ensure balance of distribution of resources, above all to ensure that the cost of living and the standard of living, the cost of living is low and the standard of living is high. Oftentimes we see that nations go on to IMF to borrow money, and the money are not accounted for. The common man across most of our African nations barely understand how their funds borrowed are used for. Most often, these funds end in the hands of a privileged few who end up using this money for their private gain. Oftentimes we see how African nations do subject their people to pay huge sums of money as tax as a means to collect money in order to pay back their loan. But the question many Africans, be it from Central Africa, be it from ECOWAS, be it from whichever area, they're asking is, what happened to the amount of money that are collected as loan? What are they being used for? And how come we are being subjected to pay high taxes as a result of collecting money to pay back as loan? A recent case is in Kenya. What happened in Kenya, where the government decided to increase the prices of basic commodities, including the price of sending and receiving money, in fact taxing the wallet, the mobile wallet of Kenyans. The Kenyans, what became known as a finance bill. The Kenyans were not happy about this. The excuse given by the government of President William Samuel Ruto was that they needed to collect huge sums of money in order to pay tax, in order to pay the loans that the country has indebted itself in. In fact, Kenya is highly indebted, as many other African countries, with Cameroon not excluded. So the government of Kenya said they are doing this such that they can be able to pay back some of these loans within a very short period of time. But the Kenyans asked for accountability. What were those loans used for? Like any other business, when you collect loan, it's because you want to run a business and you want to pay back the loan, and the gain or the interest you will use in investing. The Kenyans said they will not adhere to the new finance bill and protested heavily. The government of William Ruto bowed to pressure, withdraw the bill, and stated that with this bill being withdrawn, there will be no way in which Kenya will be able to meet its debt burden. But the question still remains, what were done with the money that had been borrowed? Same with Cameroon, same with other African countries. Zooming into where we are situating our context before taking you to this topic of discussion. 5,000 bags of rice over were donated to Cameroon. In fact, Cameroon received 5,000 plus bags of rice. That was during the period of COVID, in COVID-19 era, in 2020. Those bags of rice were donated in good faith to assist Cameroonians during the period of lockdown, because COVID was ravaging and there was lockdown. However, nobody, and very few, can actually point that these bags of rice went to A, B, and C. These bags of rice were meant to be distributed during the lockdown period. No accountability was given to Cameroonians as to where those bags of rice went to. Other donations were given in terms of money and resources because the donors understood that there will be lockdown and people will not be subjected to work, and because people are not subjected to work, it is not normal that they will be expected to feed themselves. Thus, there is that need for aid, but the aid were given. Accountability. Yes, we cannot say that some few people did not actually put their effort on the line. Some contributed wholeheartedly to fight against COVID-19. Some dedicated their career, dedicated their life, put in effort in Cameroon to ensure that we beat COVID-19 pandemic. In the same vein, others were focusing on actually looting and siphoning the money. At the end of the day, trophies were given to people for fighting COVID-19. Yes, some actually fought. Yes, some actually looted the money. Till this day, the head of state, Cameroon's president, Paul Biya, said that COVID-19 audit was going to be put in place and people were going to be accounted for. The question now is, since he made that speech 4 years after, right up to this moment, who has been arrested for mismanagement of state fund? Yet we keep seeing Cameroonians paying huge sums of money as tax. In fact, We are being taxed at all levels. We are being taxed on income. We are being taxed at selling. We are being taxed at buying. And Cameroonians keep asking, when will all this taxing end? The question and the answer they always give us is, we want to pay back the loans collected. But what were done with those loans when individuals siphon billions of budget, billions of CFA, as their money that they are supposed to be used for development projects? They siphon it, and yet they are allowed, and they want the common Cameroonian in Goki, Tunja, Munya, Kwakwa, Nake, Bole, in Nanga Eboko, in whichever area, Musala, to pay in terms of paying by buying, paying by whatever means taxable income. How long will this be? This is House of Commons with me, Mike Jarvis. In the studio, we are joined by our team of experts who are going to analyze some of the topics we are going to revisit. However, last week's edition of our program, we brought in some of the 5 key priority areas that we think can be done to help Cameroon. We said Cameroon was at the crossroad. What are the things that need to be done to fix Cameroon? Today, we are also looking at that, and we'll also be looking at some of the issue about accountability, as well as what needs to be done to engage the youth during this period of holiday. Many have been questioning the raison d'etre of sending our kids to holiday classes. Some of the opinion that rather sending that kid to a holiday class, send that kid where that kid will learn a skill and develop that skill and go back to regular classes when school resume. A lot have been said about that. But here in the studio, we are joined by an entrepreneur and someone who is also a philanthropist and have been helping a lot of Cameroonians in order to acquire good and quality education. With or without money, these persons are being assisted by Dr. Nick Ngwanyam, who is of the opinion that for us to have a better economy, we must impact our youth with skills and something that can be productive and look at what is not working and shape the future. And we must be able to readily adapt to the changing landscape without doing things as it was in those days, and so shall it be. He is of the opinion that we must bring in education that can be able to empower students to become self-reliant, in which that kind of education, when a child leaves school, that child is able to be productive. Not an education where the child will be able to speak a beautiful grammatic sentences but not be able to create jobs. Dr. Nick Ngwanyam is also known as the father of the progressive CPDM. Don't ask me when will that be launched. That is only Dr. Nick in his crystal ball. He knows the when, and he always says that the time shall come when most of these parties shall be amalgamated into one. How true or how realistic will that be? It is left for Dr. Nick Ngwanyam to answer that question. Dr. Nick, thank you very much for joining us, Mechani.
Very sure, good afternoon once more. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. It's been raining, and I'm sorry for coming to the studio late. I didn't look at my watch properly, so I made that mistake. And what you just said, you know, starting with the corruption and the poor use of finances, and then the second topic, which has to deal with what we do with our youths, how we correct the 1,001 problems we have in this country. The issues are very simple. You know, while I was at home preparing to come into the studio, I was meditating on something, and it was about first principles. You know, sometimes we might get into a very complex situation where things look so difficult, but the solutions to those things are so simple, and yet when you will put them on the table and say, this very complex thing you're looking at, this is the solution, some people will say, it's not the right solution because it doesn't look complex. The problem is too complex and your solution seems to be very simple. That is the thing. We are talking of first principles. You know, if you can understand the concept of first principles and work with that, you know, in big and small things, keep to the truth and do it in love and respect common good, we will not have any problems. But if Cameroon is having a lot of problems, it's because we don't respect principles.
Thank you very much. We'll be coming back to you. Also, we are joined by Mr. Azia, who is contributing enormously in terms of forming the minds and heart of young students at the different secondary schools in Douala, and he has been able to train a lot of students at the level of the secondary schools and making sure that these students do what is supposed to be done to achieve the desirable goal set aside not just by the Millennium Development Goal, but also goal that can help them to become more productive rather than reading beautiful literature and beautiful rendition but unable to put food on their table. He is also someone that believes firmly in the morals and principles of God teachings and also the morality that we must hold firm in order to develop our nation. Sadly enough, we have witnessing a situation within our country where morals being questioned as of what we saw from the first daughter of the state. Don't ask me what you saw, but we all know what we saw as we are talking about rigor and moralization. It is time for us to have a self-introspection on how much rigor and moralization have we instilled in our youth the love and gentle ways. Mr. Azia, happy Sunday.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Davis. It's my pleasure once more to be here and give my own contribution to the nation building. I think when you talk of morals, I think the African man, morality is part and parcel of the African man. You see, the morality of the African man has been spoiled by Europeans, and that is why you see many things are coming into play, because the African man is no more what he was in the beginning. And you see, that is why we can have pictures like the one that you have just mentioned in social media. So I want to say, if you look at the aspect of what we are going to discuss today, it is not our making, but part of it has been coined or has been put in place by the European powers that have actually made Africa to be where they are. I think during the discussions, I'll try to bring my own contributions and see if maybe televiewers outside there will bear with me, or if not, they will discard and say that man was not making sense. But I think my point of argument will actually make sense. And once more, I'm happy to be in studio with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Briefly, before we look at the key issues, because all the topics we have for today centered on the same topic we had last week, Dr. Ngwanyam. You actually articulated 5 priority areas, not 5, many priority areas. He talked about the Anglophone problem, the youth problems, the failed economy, the failed education that does not train solution providers, poor infrastructural development, bad governance, politics of hate, non-respect of the environment, Fayemanism, popularly known as the 419. These are plethora of issues facing Cameroon. But first, I want us to briefly look at some happened in Cameroon last week. More than 700,000 bags of rice have been donated by the USAID. Now, these 7,000 bags of rice have been donated to assist Cameroon in terms of food security. But you are someone, an agricultural expert, someone who also train people. You believe that these things can be cultivated here. But before you giving me the insight of what can be cultivated, I want you to briefly react on this, because you were also in the period of COVID and you did a very good job by sensitizing people on fighting against COVID-19. And you were on TV, on regular, you did videos. 5,000 bags of rice were donated during that period. Till now, we have not had accountability. How are we going to have accountability for these 700,000 bags of rice?
Wait a minute. So you are telling me that there were bags of rice during the COVID period
because of lockdown.
Good. Are you saying there are another 7,000 bags of rice or whatever tons of rice have come?
Yes, 700,000 tons of rice last week.
Last week.
Yes, by the USAID.
Okay. And if we have to go by the logic of what happened with the others, you are now thinking that some of the bags will be missing. Am I correct?
We did not even have accountability of the 5,000.
Well, so technically, if you say that the bags of rice will not be accounted for, you are right based on the past experience.
Yes, past experience.
So now you are saying, what can we do so that not a single bag of rice is missing and should be accounted for? That is the problem,
And that fit into what you talked about, bad governance.
Yes. As long as you have not corrected what went wrong, bring as many bags of rice as you want, nothing will change. That's the bottom line. So you are telling me that you have your bucket, you know this plastic bucket in which we fetch water. So you have a bucket of water, and it's supposed to hold 20 liters, but unfortunately your child was playing with it and created some holes at the bottom. Then you put in 10 liters of water and it disappeared. You went and brought 7,000 bags of rice and put in it, and then you expect the bucket to hold the rice. It will not hold it. It will still leak until you have fixed the problem and fix that hole through which things were leaking. Put whatever you like in the bucket. Call it petrol, call it palm oil, call it whatever. It will all leak away. That's my answer to you.
Thank you very much. Briefly, so I'll come back to you on the main topic. Mr. Azia, you were during the period of COVID-19. Not only bags of rice, several donations were given. I don't know whether did you receive any rice during COVID?
It is unfortunate that things like this we come on air. It is normal because we know that our country is like that. And at times I used to put the blame on those who are actually giving this, who are donating, because I feel that at one point, if we donate, we should see into it that they reach the right quotas. Because it is a problem. How can you keep donating and then there is no accountability and you continue donating? It means you yourself, you know that this is what is going to happen and you keep doing it. It means you yourself, you encourage what is happening, and it will continue to create chaos or conflict within Cameroonians. Because if we give 500 bags of rice and there is no accountability, 5,000 bags of rice and there is no accountability, why bring in 700,000?
Now they are giving 700,000.
If you are giving 700,000, you know it will still go the same as the 500,000. So the problem is on those who are giving. Because if you are giving something, for example, doctor has mentioned something of a nice bucket. Now, if you want that bucket should last, you should actually tell the child that this bucket that I'm giving to you is precious. And maybe you can even go forward to tell the child on the usage of that bucket. So, but if they are giving us and they don't see to it that it reach the right quotas, and they continue giving, it means the one that the situation should remain the same and people should keep complaining every day. So my problem lies on those who are giving. My problem is not even because they know that this is the situation, because they themselves created that situation. It is a situation that those who are giving, they know that this is what is happening on the field, and they continue giving so that we remain under bondage. So that's my point of view.
Nick Anu, did you receive any bags of rice during COVID-19? Because 5,000 bags were given plus other donations. Now 700,000 bags have been donated. I don't know whether in the northwest and southeast
don't even call those areas.
Yeah, but we don't actually know why those bags were even given, because we have not really heard of the U.S. government giving aid to Cameroon as far as this crisis started. The crisis started in 2016. And today, 2024, they're telling us that they're giving us 700 bags of rice. I think it's a disgrace. We don't need that. We have been suffering, our parents have been suffering, and what we need the U.S. government to do is diplomacy, not giving us bags of rice to end the crisis. It's like an insult to us. Giving to a nation like, it's just like an insult. It's just like giving a child. A nation at this stage should not be receiving aid. Like, we don't want to even go into the politics of aid. The politics of foreign aid is another big mafia. Now, if we want to talk about aid, it will take a whole day. And I think Cameroon, like, we should be ashamed, like, at this stage in our life, we're still receiving aid.
Bags of rice.
I think even the 60s, even the 60s, Cameroon was giving aid to China, giving aid to South Korea. And today we depend on them to eat rice in our homes. It is a sign that our leadership have failed over the time, and it is a time to sit up, because really a disgrace.
Dr. Ningwanyam, let's come now to today's dissertation. We're looking at the same thing, which is focused on fixing.
Might be before you just change and go to that, may I just add a little bit of juice to what Nick was saying. Let's say it and call it by its name. There must, when you are born, you suck your mother's milk. But at 2 years, you must stop sucking that milk. You cannot continue at 5 years sucking your mother's milk. That's what Cameroon is doing. Honestly, to give us rice.
With 20 educational,
yes, with so many institutions of agriculture, caterpillars rotting in the bush, with a lot of fertile land, with a lot of rain, with the best weather, Cameroon is the best country in Africa, and you are receiving rice. In fact, when America is giving us rice, they are insulting us. Ask them to give you, to bring technology, and they will not give you. Why? Why don't they come and teach us how to grow the rice? Why don't they come and teach us how to make Samsung phones? Why don't come and teach us how to make computers? Why don't they tell our government, look, you are messing up big time, we will give you technology so that you are as good as South Korea? Why are they giving us rice? Please don't give us rice, give us technology. If you love us, give us technology. If you don't want to, leave us to die. At the same time, my Cameroonians wake up and start doing what is at their nose. For someone to give you rice is an insult. Thank you.
In this time that you have a lot of educational institutions that focus on agriculture, everywhere agriculture, arable land, good climatic conditions, tractors being left in the agricultural show in Ebolowa to rot, get rot, while other nations are importing, like Burkina Faso importing tractors and machines and giving it to their farmers. We are talking about bags of rice receiving Dr. Nate.
It's a shame.
Does that not go back to governance?
No, it's not. It's something's wrong somewhere.
Dr. Nate, what are now we look at? We have a lot of issues that are to fix in Cameroon. The Anglophone problem, the youth problems, a failed economy, a failed educational system that does not train solution providers, poor infrastructural development, bad governance, politics of hate, no respect of environment, and feminism. These are some of the problems that we have in Cameroon.
Yeah, and they can easily be fixed if we want to. It's just a matter of political will to do what is right, to do what is just and what is good. So if we say we are going to fix all these problems and we set our minds to fixing the problems, in 2 months you begin to see a massive change, and in 1 year a lot of things will be corrected.
I think let's begin with the Anglophone crisis.
The Anglophone crisis, we had the greatest opportunity during the major national dialogue to fix that thing once and for all, but we choose to leave the problem and go chasing after shadows. You know, each time you don't face the truth, I mean, the Bible says it is only the truth that can set us free. If you run away from the truth, it doesn't matter. God takes his time. You run away for 1,000 years, 2,000 years. To leave that trap, you must come back to that truth. So keep on deceiving yourself. It doesn't matter. The only thing that can save you is when you face the truth in love and live by that truth. You can deceive yourself from morning till evening. Nothing will change. So we went to the major national dialogue, and instead of facing the problem and solving it, we decided to go on a holiday, and that's why we are still in a mess. And how is the Anglophone problem going to be solved? Like we go up, we come down. We must face the truth in love and solve that problem.
Yeah, Doctor, you talked also about the issue of accountability.
Yeah.
We seemingly, like the issue of bags of rice, still fall within the issue of governance and accountability.
Yeah.
Where did we get it wrong?
So
how do we fix it?
When you say bad governance is a big word which means there is no accountability, there's human rights abuse, there's corruption, there is stealing. It's everything. It's just this big bag in which you throw all the craps, the tribalism and so on. So we are saying that, you know, to correct these things, we must get to a point where we get the right government in place. We get the right government in place. We get technocrats in place. We get entrepreneurs in place to solve the problems. Why do we have these problems? You know, we have this litany of problems, but this is it. Listen to me and listen well. Every government or nation, every church, every household, everything is run as a business. Everything works on principles of a business, which means you do something and you earn something, okay? And in doing something, whatever you put on the market, in quotes, because the church will be a market selling specific goods, selling the word of God, selling the love of God. And then what is the return? What is the return? That you win souls, okay? We're not talking about the money, that you win souls. We're not talking about miracle money. No, that's not what we're talking.
Win souls, those souls who come and contribute offerings.
Yeah, that's fine. But I want us to get a certain principle that you are delivering something and then you are getting something in return. So in a household, when the father earns his salary, or they have to sit down, budget it, and say this is for this is for that, and use it effectively. So it's about the effective use of resources, and you have to produce more wealth, otherwise you go under, because there's inflation and many other things. So when you have a nation that is run by civil servants who don't understand the principles of business, then it doesn't matter how much money they borrow. It doesn't matter what the budget is. Your budget can be 6 billion, whatever. Half of it will be wasted. Watch my lips. Half of it is wasted. But when I mean the system, when everybody has got the mindset of an entrepreneur, a businessman, then you know how to grow that money, how to grow your systems, how to make it work. So as long as you have a system that is run by administrators who don't know how to invest, who don't know how to sell a bottle of groundnuts, who only know how to consume, you will never get out of the mess.
Mr. Azia, coming to this topic of today, you are someone who grew up in the Southwest region. The agricultural input of the Southwest region was massive. Today, we are being told that they are giving us rice. Are we lacking the manpower, the skills, the capability to intensify production?
Yes, because I think I've said this on several occasions. The educational system that was put in place after colonialism is the main reason for this. Now you will not tell me where is the manpower in the first place. Well, when we want to talk about agricultural schools, how many do we have in Cameroon?
A lot.
We have a lot, yes. How many experts do we have on the field? That is another problem, because when you see these agricultural schools in Cameroon that you are saying we have a lot, I know there are a few dotted here and there, and that if you even encourage a child where you just call agriculture to a student, the first thing that comes to the mind is that I'm going back to the farm to clear. And that is a very big mistake, because the educational system coined agriculture as going back to the farm to cultivate. But when it comes to agriculture itself, you see that it has many domains that you can excel without necessarily being a farmer. So it becomes a problem of the educational system. When you look at the Southwest region that we grew there, you see that the farming was not in the hands of intellectuals. The farming was in the hands of peasants, those who never went to school. And you see, they had to use that as their source of living, and there was no way that they could say that I will not do agriculture, because that is the only way that they can make money. But nowadays, bringing years after then, you see that a lot of people have gone to school, but they went to school without acquiring skills. Their education was speaking grammar, and it is an educational system that I say was left in place by the colonial masters, because many of our parents will say, I want my child to be a minister, I want my child to be a lawyer, I want my child to be what have you, but hardly will you hear them saying that I want my child to actually take on agriculture as an option. So you see that because of this, those people that were involved in agriculture, they are gradually, their manpower, their strength is dying down. And so, because of the crisis that has come in, many of them have run to urban areas, and you see that the agricultural production needs to fall. How many children, how many youths today, we have talked of the price of cocoa that is skyrocketing now. How many youths are prepared to go back and take on cocoa farming? So you see, my problem is, I always say that it is a system that was put in place by colonial masters, and like Doctor has said, Cameroon has a lot to go before we can actually come out of this. And one of the things that I said one time in this program is the educational system of Cameroon needs to be rehauled. Except it is rehauled, when we remain in this same educational system, Cameroon will remain like this forever.
Okay, Nick, let me come to I come back to Doctor on some of the things he may mention, because that's why you see Doctor brought up a system with agriculture to rebrand the mentality, where people feel that to go to agriculture, to do agriculture or to go to the farm, you must wear tattered dresses, shabby dresses. They don't know that with agriculture you have different branches, and also even if you want to work in the farm, it should be mechanized and it should look good and have. I saw some of the flyers and some of the things that doctor is doing in his institution, which is changing the narrative. Make many to see that it's not a job for a peasant, because that's been a notion. Maybe he will throw more light on that. Nick, let us look at this issue. How do we fix some of the problems we have, owing to the fact that we don't have accountability, like the case of COVID, the 5,000 bags of rice that we never saw. Doctor said we missed an opportunity on the grand measure national dialogue to resolve Cameroon's problem and the phone's problem.
Yeah, it is rather unfortunate that solving governance is scientific and it is principled that you must follow. But it is rather unfortunate that in our own political ecosystem, we rather want to do things our own way and expect magic. It's just like somebody drinking poison and expecting his enemy to die. That's what our political leaders are doing. Yeah, because governance has principle, and one of the principles is accountability. In Cameroon, I can say we have just about 5% public interest accountability. Our political leaders they just afraid to be accountable to us, and there's no way you cannot be accountable to people, and every day you expect them to keep giving to the government, and then they keep just living their lavish lifestyles, buying exorbitant cars, and all of this. The major things they're supposed to do with our budget, they don't do it, and we keep suffering and going down the drain on a daily basis. The bone of contention is just bad leadership, and there are no two ways about it. It's just bad leaders. I always say on this program, I always say that we have leaders who are more of hunters than farmers, because a hunter is just interested in shooting and killing an animal. A hunter doesn't know when that animal was given birth to. But a farmer takes time to plan, wait for it to grow, weed the farm, takes time to, take the bad seeds out of farm, then wait for the harvest. We are praying to have those kind of leaders who will be patient like farmers. Of course, when you plant, what you planted is not what you will harvest. You're going to harvest more due to the law of multiplication. Those are the kind of leaders we want. We want leaders who will be able to, like, they give them 10 billion francs as the budget of their ministry. They should be able to invest this money and then come up with more money than that. But we'd rather have leaders that we give them 10 billion. First of all, half of the money is their own before they think of doing what was, first of all, earmarked for that budget. And they are never accountable to anybody. I always ask the question that why is it that in November session of Parliament that's dedicated to the budget, we always see ministers come and defend budget, but you will never hear a minister come and tell you how the budget of the previous year was used, whether there was a deficit, whether there was a surplus. Nobody will ever tell you that story. And most of the times, they even come to Parliament, they don't even give the account, because as per the law, they're supposed to inform the Parliament some months before that of what they're supposed to come and present. But most of the time, they don't do these things. They just come and force themselves. They present the budget that they need for that year without giving an account of how the previous budget was spent. A nation can never be run like that. If we keep doing that every day, we're going nowhere.
Expecting different results.
Yeah, we're going nowhere. Like I said, drinking poison and expecting your enemy to die. That's what we are doing. We need leaders who will be conscious of the future, because what we have in Cameroon now, we don't have leaders, we have politicians. Politicians are interested in the next election. Leaders are interested in the next generation. Why politicians are interested in the next election? They are just interested in how to get the next post and how to squeeze whatever juice is in that post. That's what most of our leaders are. And I always say politics or whatever, political leadership always have an eternal dimension. No matter what you do, you think that you are stealing billions, you think that you are doing the government, or you are doing your people bad, but you don't know that there are eternal consequences to that. Of course, most of our leaders, they know that we are actually seeing most of the consequences in their children. we don't want to call names here, was seeing the consequences of their bad leadership in their children. Of course, that's how it is. The law of karma will always cut them short and in everything they do. So we're praying. We don't expect any miracle to happen to Cameroon now as of this regime. But we expect that maybe when they come 2025, maybe if there's a regime change, not a person change, because if 2025, if you change just the president, nothing will still change.
The whole system
Yes.
needs to be
Yeah, the progressive system.
Overhaul of the system.
He's talking the progressive system.
Okay, before I come to you, Doctor, let me just take on some few messages. Greetings to you, Mr. Jarvis, and your panel. According to me, I think Cameroon, for Cameroon to come back to its feet, I think we need to start thinking about solving our own problems and not trying to ignore them. The Anglophone problem was a problem that could be solved, but as a result of neglect, we are where we are today. Patrick writing from Yaoundé. This other one, right, it says beautiful and articulated solutions to you all in the studio this afternoon. Does Cameroon has a state audit? And if yes, what is really the duty of the state audit? Or is it only the head of state that has the final say, given the fact that he has officials in place who are supposed to give accountability to him, maybe through the state audit? COVID-19 funds, no accountability. Tons of rice, no accountability. And now these 5,000 bags of rice still wouldn't have accountability. It's 700, not only 5,000 to go with. For example, who is in the northwest region since the beginning of this crisis? I have never smelled even a cup of rice. Where are we? Why are we wicked to our own self? And I am tempted to say that Cameroonians say that Cameroon is a farm whereby you go to inside and harvest your own self and family with no accountability. But if you are caught directly to Kundengi, what a shame. Armstrong writing from Bamenda. Armstrong says he himself has never seen a cup of rice in Bamenda. Now they are talking about the donation of this bag of rice. This other one says, good evening, good greetings to you. Thank you very much, Dr. Nick. When you are always there, I feel enlightened because I always learn a lot from your wisdom. Please, Doctor, your progressive CPDM, when is it going to be launched? Because I'm waiting for it. This says, good afternoon, dear panelists. Mr. Bia has failed. Mr. Bia has failed. Cameroonians should wake up. See what is happening in Kenya. Bad leadership in Africa. This time, Africa has come. In Africa, the time has come for African youth. You should wake up from your sleep. Mr. Mokonya writing from Boya. Dr. Nick Ngwanyam, maybe you may want to throw more light on some of the things he said before I ask you my question. Yes, that many people they expertise, but we have all the errats. We have all the educational institutions who are training. Is it because we lack experts or goodwill?
Thank you very much, Mr. Eza. When you were talking, I paid attention to what you were saying, and even if Jarvis had not called my attention to it, I would have loved to come back to a couple of things that you said, so that we straighten the path and the understanding. If you look very carefully, you said something about the agriculture. This is the bottom line. No youth wants to go to the farm in quotes and use a cutlass and a hoe. Even I, Dr. Ngwanyam, if I used a cutlass and a hoe in my days. If now you want me or my children to go to the farm and use a cutlass and a hoe, they will not. You understand? So there is something that we must change so that agriculture becomes interesting, welcoming, appetizing. So the thing is, agriculture is not bad. We see the farms, we see the food in the market, and we all go to the market to buy the food, and we love eating. But there is something in the process of farm to the table that we don't like. It is the hard work. Are you getting the point? There's a lot of money in agriculture, but there's some hard work in there that we need to change, and that's where technology comes in. When we are talking about a farmer in America, a farmer in the Netherlands, we are talking a farmer in China. It's something very beautiful. They are not using the hoe and cutlass. They are using machines. It's mechanized agriculture. That's the key. Without mechanization, we are going nowhere. If you are going to do agriculture in a way that is productive, in a way that yields more fruit, then you must bring in technology, you must bring in machinery, and that is the key. Without technology and without machinery, we are going nowhere. So the question is, how do we bring in the machinery and the technology? We, like you noticed, we had and we still have a lot of schools of agriculture. You know, when you see the school of when you see the University of Chang, it actually started as a university center in Corbisong. I'm sure you're aware of that. Maybe you are too young to know. But yeah, when I was in QS, because I went to QS in 1977 and I graduated in 1983. This school of agriculture in University of Agriculture in Chang was in Corbisong. It was a university center training agri-engineers. Yeah. And so imagine from that time until today, and then we have many other schools of agriculture at different levels. But this is the bottom line. Like Mr. Eze is saying, we cannot see an increase in one bag of rice because of all these people. So what is the problem? You train, and then all they do is they wear tie and coat like me and go and sit in an air conditioner. That is a mistake.
And buy tractors and abandon.
And buy tractors. The problem lies also on the training.
No, that is it. We are coming to it. So you see, you have trained them. You train them, and then a child is with HND and BSc, and they are writing the concours to enter the public service. No, something is wrong. What went wrong? We must correct that. What went wrong? If we don't correct it, you create 1,000 schools of agriculture in the way they are today. No, absolutely nothing will change. If the tractors were meant rotted in the bush in Ebolova, is because something in our psyche is not working well. You get the point. And what is that? So let's back up a little bit. In fact, like you say, I love agriculture a lot. When I was in primary school, when I was leaving class 7, I wanted to be one of 3 things: an agric officer, a pilot, or a medical doctor. So I became a medical doctor, fair and good. But the desire for agriculture stayed in me and is still in me. And today I'm going to express it, and I started to express it through the School of Agriculture, and I've been pushing to make it work the way I think it should be. But don't forget that it's also very expensive to make it work. You have to have this equipment,
the modernized agriculture.
Yes, the modernized agriculture. And talking about modernized agriculture, do you know of any structure, government structure? Does any of you here or anyone listen to me, do you know a structure in Cameroon, in Yaoundé, called Senema? Did you ever hear of Senema? Senema is a government structure in Yaoundé, also situated in Corbisong thereabouts, that was supposed to be making agricultural machinery and tools. Have you ever seen anything on the field since 1901 that came from Senema? Zero. That is our problem.
Do you remember that was they wrote to that Corbisong?
Yeah.
They wrote to that been there. They wrote to that school, that agricultural school in Corbisong.
Yes.
Terrible. Dilapidated.
Let's forget about
That
it.
is the quality of the training that is bringing out the quality.
Imagine. Let me tell you this. Yeah, let me tell you this funny story. Let me tell you this funny story to show you how stupid we are in Cameroon. I mean, I'm talking of you remember when I was in university and there was in Corbisong, and this is how they were training the agricultural engineers at the time. And they would like say they're going to have practicals on how to put fertilizer on the farm. They go and stand on the tar, take sand and spread it. You can sprinkle it. You can
That's a quality you are
my God! Oh my God! Yes, you can sprinkle it. Oh my God! Then you are surprised that 50 years afterwards there's nothing. No, there's something absolutely wrong with you. Are you seeing the bullshit? No. So this is it. Huh? St. Louis is St. Louis is beginning to correct that. You know, I bought a Caterpillar, right?
Yes.
A Caterpillar, and I also advanced money for a tractor. The Caterpillar is a front-end loader, a Cat 950 front-end loader. So we'll use that to clear the farm. I don't want the children to use a machete. I want a Caterpillar to go there and push the grass and leave the big trees. Then we can come back with a bulldozer and identify some of the big trees and push them down. But you cannot push down every big tree because you need some windbreaks. Okay, and it's just that, like they say, turkey like boxing by your hand shot. You understand that expression? Otherwise, this season I should cultivate 40 hectares of this modern cassava this season, and then I should also grow sunflower, wheat, all those things that grow pepper, all those things that mature in 3 months. Grow a lot of that in the dry season. Grow a lot of jama on hectares. We are going to do hectares and hectares of it, inshallah. That is God willing. Because it's something that is in my spirit to show how it can be done, not the blah blah up down.
Doctor, I want to come back to
and by the way, when we are talking about machines, don't forget, when I say the big machines, don't forget the Chinese. They also have small machines for doing agriculture. There is no reason for anybody to be laboring with a machete. The machine for weeding the farm,
yes, that
is 75,000 francs. Okay, and the machine for the small machine for tilling.
Plow the farm.
Yes, that is for the one that plows the small these things is 400,000 francs. I heard you, Mr. Nick. Those small machines go to Kojini. They're there.
400,000.
Yeah, we
farmer in Munya.
No.
400,000 becomes a problem.
No. We are, no. We are here to teach people and show them the way. Don't give them excuses, because this is how it is. What do we do? Let's go back to a community like Donga Mantu, open farm. The council should buy a tractor and plow the farm for the people and the farm. We are just saying that there are ways and means of giving. Let's not say that there's
that leads me to my question. That leads me to the question I wanted to ask. If we look at, for example, what is currently happening right now in Africa, Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré bought more than 500 tractors, more than 600 plowers.
Yes.
And also based on what he said, he intends to buy 4,000 of tractors,
yes,
to divide across the entire nation.
Yes.
With the aim that each constituency will have a team that will assist farmers go to their farm. If you need to be plowed, you go to your farm, plow your farm, so that you don't have this stress. That's to solve the problem.
That's where I was coming from.
How come that we are in the continent, we are not thinking that in a nation that prides itself as the bread breeding basket? Is that a progressive vision?
Well, the progressive CBN is going to solve that problem very easily. First and foremost, you see, Traoré is doing something. He's buying the tractors so that he can go quickly.
Yes.
But in the second phase, he should not buy tractors. He should make the tractors in Burkina Faso. Are you getting what I'm saying? And even as we speak, I think I know
they're already doing that.
Yeah, I know it's an engineer. Yeah. There are some Cameroonians here who are making farm tractors. They are not as big, as sophisticated like those other ones, but you craft a system to meet your needs. It has wheels, it has an engine. You can pick an engine from anywhere, even a Toyota engine or whatever, a motorcycle engine, put on it, and then put the plows behind it, and it would do it. And actually, when you see the motorcycle, you can actually put it on, fix it to a motorcycle and drive, and it will do your farm. On this, you see these tricycles. You can use the tricycle to do your farm. So it's just about thinking out of the box. You understand? And then try to use technology at different levels to replace muscle. If you're going to talk about agriculture and you are thinking of muscle, there's something wrong with you. Agriculture now is sense.
Yeah, Mr. Azia, you were talking about the issue of having assessed our financial flow to buy some of this equipment that Dr. just said. But is it not also incumbent that these farmers can put themselves into cooperative and see how they can sort and get some of this material that can work in their farm? Because for where we used to work in subsistence farming, we have what was called the Njange system, where today we go and clear your farm, the next day we go and clear Dr. Nick's farm, the next day we go, and that's how our parents grew up. So we'll go with a team. Day one is this farm, what we clear, we eat, we dance that farm. The next day, so that was that technology at the time for it to get work easily done. But now with this advance of technology, you are talking about the fact that in probability of getting resources. Can these farmers form themselves into cooperative? And what can do now? Is it not also good for them to put their local council to tax? Because we are used to voting people based on food. Why can't we now say, okay, we are voting only those who are going to give us this equipment,
Correct.
set up this equipment for us?
Yep.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Davis. I think it's a very good suggestion that they can come into cooperatives and see if they can acquire these equipments to carry out the farming. But now I see come back to the aspect of the financing. When you look at it, the cooperative, they can come out with this group, but where will the finance come from? But what I'm talking about is there should be maybe a bank that is a farmers bank that they can come as a cooperative and get a loan that they can acquire these machineries. But it is not all talking about using machines, but it is how to acquire the income to get them that is important. But you can, to have the machines, it's no problem. But where are they going to have the money? Looking at their financial strength. What we are saying, we are talking about mechanized farming. Mechanized farming needs hectares upon hectares, and therefore it needs machines to work there. But normally our farmers used to have their small meters of land that they'll carry on with their manpower, and for them to that was enough for them. They were doing but hand to mouth farming. But if you want to talk about mechanized farming, it means we need to use machines. And where is this money going to come from? I don't know. Maybe doctor can maybe bring the cat out of the bag. How much it costs to acquire maybe a tractor, to acquire maybe a modern tractor that you can use in a mechanized farming. It's hundreds of millions. No, and so now let me come back. Not true, engineer. Maybe okay, but it's millions.
No,
but let me learn.
Learn.
It is costly. We may say that it is
as compared
to the resources of the local farmer. That's what I mean. It is costly. Now, a local farmer that is unable to acquire a truck, a normal truck that he can use to transport things in the farm. Imagine them coming together to acquire a tire of a tractor. And now we come back with what you have talked about our local councils. Please, when we talk about local councils, I'm very happy that you made mention of them. Local councils talk of local governance. But if you go around to look at the local councils that we have, they are a shadow of themselves. How many local councils, let us take the area of Boya that we have, how many of them have those tractors that they can actually offer to farmers? And even if they are there, the notions that we have in Cameroon, notions like tribalism, nepotism and all the like, they will not want to help people on an equal basis. Maybe they want to favor their tribal people, or maybe they want to favor their family people.
Now, so let me do a quick follow-up for you. You talked about the fact that we are looking at the councils are a shadow of themselves. Is it not because the people have made the council to be a shadow of themselves? Because if you have a people that are proactive, that actually know what they want now, decide that, okay, let's take the case of Monya,
yes,
my 16, Bolifamba, all those areas. If these people in this area who are principally farmers decide that we will only vote a party that will have A, B, C, D, one, set up our corporation, two, come up with machines that we can actually go and rent and come and till our farm, even if you cannot buy. But these machines will be put at your disposal. You can pay minimal money and you come and till your farm, and it goes back. Then the council intend generate revenue, and the farmers intend also help in the cultivation, and the economic growth is a win-win. Why can't we now start looking at some of those suggestions that, okay, get this machine for us, their councils, we'll come and pay and rent them. If I have to plow a hectare on my land, I come and rent them with a minimal cost, and it plow and it goes.
You see, my
brother there,
let me learn. My brother there made mention of something that I love so seriously. It's like I talk of poison and doing what?
Drinking
poison. Very simple. When you look at the politicians in Cameroon, it is immediate result. They'll come and give. That's what they have been telling the masses. This is, if we take power, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this.
No, because the masses have made them that way.
You are very correct. You are very correct. And we can change, like you have said. But what will happen if they come and present those things, and in the final analysis, they don't meet their promises?
Vote them out.
We vote them out, and that is what we have been doing. But looking at the situation that it is very difficult to vote them out, as the case may be. What do they do?
Receive their bags of rice. Good afternoon, Mr. Jarvis. In my opinion, that When the outside countries want to help us, they ask the government to get the so-called rice from their local farmers. They hand the money to them so that the money can help the local farmers. But in this case, that was not what was done. Mr. Oliver from Banjul, the rice were actually imported. What you are saying is that they ought to have been giving they ought to have given the money to local farmers to provide this rice. But that was not what was done. This one says greetings to you in the studio. We need to completely delete the system in place, but where is the new system to come from? Opposition seem not to have anything better than what we see today. This may be the reason why opposition seems to be hiding their manifesto, thereby making us to be more confused as per who to vote. Look at how difficult it is for the opposition parties to agree on anything, yet they want to change a system which has disagreement as one of the main problems. Beramen Ngum, writing from Call Bisong, Yaoundé, and Song DERICK, right? It says greetings to the crew. It says greetings to the crew. It is evident that political party leadership in Cameroon has failed to ensure accountability and transparency. The recent case of 5,000 bags of rice from USAID going unaccounted for, just one of example of the rampant mismanagement that plagues the country. This lack of accountability not only hinders development but also opens the door for further corruption. It is concerning that a country like Cameroon, which is rich in resources, will need to rely on aid such as rice donation. This is not only insulting but also raises a question about the true state of affairs within the government. It is crucial for us to demand better from our leaders and hold them accountable for their actions. Only through transparency and accountability can we hope to see true progress and development of Cameroon. Song DERICK, you wanted to react?
Yeah, I wanted to say that we should not so much dwell on the impossibilities. We should look at the possibilities of how we can get out of this situation. Because like if you have your father or your mother and they decide to be vagabonds, meaning that they take the family resources and gamble with it, you as a child, you will not fool your arm and sit and say your destiny has gone because your father cannot take care of you. You have to devise means in order to get out of that situation. As I was saying, that as opposed to technology, as we are saying, for example, like I'll take a practical example, like in my village in Fontaine, where I come from. So before this crisis, what I witnessed, my mom, they had their own common initiative group. They will produce their cassava. They have this machine to produce gari. They have their machine. They have somebody who man that machine every week. No, like on a daily basis, if you produce a cassava today, that person will come and grind it. You no longer need to use your hand to grind buckets of gari. And they were doing that before the crisis, and they used to make a lot of money. And when they do that, they fry their gari and keep. They don't even go to the market. They buy, just come and carry it to the market. They only go there on the day of selling. They go and sell, and it was making life to be easy. And I see, take for example, like that we should not so much dwell on the impossibility. Like in my village in Fontaine now, we are doing our own roads with the support of the diaspora. We're contributing money. We're about buying our own equipment, our own caterpillars. And currently now we're opening a road that has been abandoned for so many years. We're doing that right now. I mean, that is a community initiative. That is a budget of millions of francs that is being done by the community, not by the government. So we have seen that the government is negligent about maintaining their own provincial road that passes through that place. So we decided to open our own roads, and everybody is contributing to it. So we should not so much dwell but on the impossibility or depend that we wait until the council will do something. No, every village association should come together. They can contribute money and buy these tractors and keep.
I'm getting them to farmers cheaper.
Like the road equipment we're about to buy, we want to keep them like a team that will manage it. Like if somebody wants to open a road in their quarter, you just come and you buy petrol for it and they go and do your job and life becomes easy. Not like you'll be waiting for the government, because we have realized that we have a lot of politically irresponsible leaders that don't want to do what they were elected to do. So what do you do at that moment? It's not like we should not vote them out when election comes. But in the meantime, if they don't want to do their job, what do you do? Should we die? So we have to look for solutions. We have to be solution oriented. Like the issue of agriculture, we are see just even at the level of agricultural mechanization, like planting. There's a lot. If we tell you that there's money in agricultural transformation more than
reducing waste. You understand the post harvesting.
Yeah, post harvest wastage,
manufacturing and all the like.
If they're selling a kilo of cocoa today for 5,000 something, a kilo of cocoa, when they go to transform it, it generates more than 50,000 francs. I mean, in transformation.
Yeah.
Because there's cocoa oil, which is the cocoa. I think there's just one company in Douala here. No, this one in Sick Cacao. Yeah, they're in charge of extracting that oil from cocoa. And it's very expensive. That's why you don't see it in the market. You will not see cocoa oil in a supermarket around Douala here. They extract it, ship it abroad. Because it's very good. It's very good, like in curing hypertension and the rest. They send it abroad. They don't say, but that is transformation that has been done. And the money they get from there is more than the money you are going to sell about your kilo of cocoa.
5,000. You are celebrating. You are selling a kilo of 5,000. But whereas the buyer, according to you, you have duped the buyer. The buyer is laughing at you that look at me this.
The buyer is making more than 50,000 francs from that.
So which means our agriculture, we are still at the level of production, but we should also be thinking about transformation.
Transformation.
Okay.
That is where the real money in agriculture is.
Yeah.
If we don't do that, and we have to tackle the problem from every sector, from the nursery sector. Like from an example, you have to make agriculture to be attractive from the primary school level. I remember in my primary school day, we used to have a subject called rural science. We used to have school gardens, but you no longer see those things again today. You see, as time is going on, the books in our children's school bag are becoming so many, and what they're learning is becoming so little. What is in their head is becoming so little. So you have to make, if you make a policy that at least every secondary school, do you know you can grow potato just behind you? You don't need a farm to grow potato. You can grow potato just with a bag, with this 50 kilogram bag. You just need to
even the 10-liter water container.
You just need to put something inside, manure inside, and then you put seedlings of potato inside, and they will grow within.
And you put some sticks for
within 3-4 months. You harvest that. So these are the kind of initiatives we should be encouraging the government to do, or the private sector to do, and so that as to, if you put a target that maybe every year this secondary school, at least you should have a garden that you produce at least 5 bags of potato. They will do that. They will have to devise means to do that. These are the kind of initiatives you should do. You have to make agriculture to be attractive to students. Okay. I used to teach whenever I ask my students, especially what they want to become. None of them will ever tell me that they want to become a farmer. They will always tell you about doctors, engineers, pilot, and so on and so forth. None of them will ever tell you that you want to become a farmer. And then when they will say that, I will always ask that who want to become a farmer. You see, no hand will be up to all of that I want to become a farmer. Of course, we have to make these things to be. Why is it that in Cameroon we don't have agriculture as a subject in secondary school? Just leaving our primary school. Why should we not have agriculture?
That is what I'm saying.
Why should we not have agriculture as a subject in secondary school?
Dr. Nick Gwanya. This is holiday period. A lot of our parents want to send our kids to holiday school. You are a father. You are a promoter of higher education. How do we engage our youths?
Thank you very much. For that time that the children are in school, in the first term, the second and the third term, they are learning something which we call education. And we are all agreed on this panel and out of this panel that whatever they are learning in the first semester or in the first term, second and third term is not what successful nations are teaching. Successful nations like South Korea, Finland and China are teaching their children. So whatever we call education is le faux. It's a scam. You are learning how to read and write, and then even you read and write, ask your child to even read, they will not read well. Ask them to even speak the English, they speak the English. Ask them. So what exactly are they doing there? nothing. It's a waste of time. And when I say it, you see, I say it looking at you straight in your eyeballs to say that what we call education in Cameroon has failed woefully. We need to change that. So when the holiday time comes like this, it's an opportunity for you to ask the question, what are the children in China doing? What are those in Japan doing? What are those in South Korea doing? What are those in Finland doing? Send your children into the skills-oriented programs to learn those things. That is where life is. They have done this. They have spent their time studying rubbish in 3 terms. Then you still ask them to go again and continue to be and memorizing. That is called foolishness. Don't do that, please. It's foolishness. So do what I saw some of the teachers of do what I saw what some of the parents of students were doing. They had their children in Sacred Heart Manco. You know, a Sacred Heart Manco, when it comes to those grammatical things, they are top. But when the holiday period came, they would take them to the front street and put them in a mechanical garage to learn mechanics. Okay? They would take some of their daughters from Our Lady of Lourdes to the back market or wherever to learn how to plait their hairs. Do something practical. And those children who are learning how to plait their hair, yes, they will have 10 beautiful grades, but when they go to America, it's by plaiting their hair that they are feeding themselves.
Yeah, they have skills.
Okay? Forget this, you are 10 papers, it's good, but that life doesn't revolve around those 25 points and so on. I'm a grade A student. My children are all grade A students, but we have the grade A, but the question is, how are you applying that grade A stuff to solve problems? Just having grade A when you cannot solve problems is useless. Let me put it this way. You know, like I said, I have a school, and sometimes, let me tell you one of the things that makes me very angry. You know, we have knowledge. We go to school and learn so much, and we put it in this part of our brain. But when we go out, we forget to realize that to solve the problems outside, we need to take that material and convert into solutions. You know, answering, solving problems. We keep it here just for passing exams. Then when we go out, we are not using it, and then we face some challenges, simple things. Let me give you an example. You know, I would employ people to teach in my school, and you will see they did very well. They had 5 A levels, they had 5 A grades, A in physics and so on. And by the way, physics is one of the most important subjects for a survivor in life. And then I'm sure all of you have seen
good first degree.
Yeah. So they would have this A level physics, and they had A grades. Then now when they are projecting, you know, a projector, when they're projecting the notes on the wall, and you come and stand at the back, first you realize that they don't open it much so that the children at the back can see. They cram their slides so that you cannot read, and then they don't. You have to orientate the beam so that it falls perpendicular to the board, so that they put that and it's skewed like that. Then I'm asking, my man, you say you have A-level physics. What on earth? You don't know about light, you don't know about the principles of light and all those kind of things. Are you getting what I'm saying? So when you say it like that, you know that the guy went to school, he had A-level, but he's just an idiot.
Just cramped it.
So that is our problem. We have to bring up children in way. So when you send out your A levels, when you send out your child from Sacred Heart to the garage, he should go on YouTube and learn how the car functions and the physics behind it. Then when he goes, he's saying, okay, where's the tire? What is this spring? What is the damper? Are you getting me? Getting to know, and then explaining that from the point of view of physics, and knows it. Oh, you say combustion in the engine. Where's the spark plug? When that piston is moving up and down. Oh, I see. Then he is putting things together, because we are too abstract and stupid. And then the Chinese are coming, the Americans are coming, the French are coming, the Lebanese are coming and sucking us dry. That's why we have so many youths, but it's other people who come and are building our roads, and our children are poor. There is a problem somewhere, and we must correct it. It's not about those who are holiday classes. It should be skills related. If not skills related, forget it.
No, because you see someone, he has spent first term, second term, third term in school reading and writing, you still go back to holiday classes reading and writing, and you expect this child to get to upper seed and graduate and go to university
and be useful in life.
Yeah, and be useful in life, still go reading and writing without knowing that there's what we call an added value. A part of reading and writing, what else can you do?
It's about doing. Life is about doing, not about telling stories. Blah 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 blah. You recite all the textbooks. The American man will, after put your certificate aside, what can you do? If you cannot answer the question of what you can do, look at me, you're an idiot.
Doctor, but that example of still teaching people using fertilizer, using sand is something that that you go on practicals to show how fertilizers are being used.
Yeah.
You take them to a tarmac.
Yes.
You use sand that you can sprinkle it.
Yes.
Then you expect.
Have farms. They have picture farm. And the other when they graduate, you expect bags of rice from where?
Nico was saying, you're drinking poison. That's drinking poison.
I expect government, they are enemies to die.
I love that.
How do we get engaged this youth in? Because I'm sure you are in the secondary school era. Holiday classes will soon start.
We are starting on the 15th.
The 15th.
So,
the same reading and writing again.
yes. Now, you see, Zajevis, I totally agree with what Doctor is saying. 100% it is true. But the nature of the job makes it to be like that. Now you come to understand that I've often said their salary is catechist salary. And things like this is for them to catch up within the holidays. You remember there are some teachers, especially with the private sector, that after 9 months, they will not earn a franc again. So they use this 1 month holiday classes maybe to prepare their rentrée scolaire and things like that, especially in most private schools that they don't actually pay their teachers 12 on 12, despite the minimal wages that they receive. But you see, how to occupy our youth during the holidays, I totally agree that holidays are meant for children to actually rest and maybe improve on the skills that they have learned in school. Like you said, I even had one parent that during holiday usually will vary the things that the children will do during holiday. There are some that are going in for mechanics, some that are going in for seamstressing and all the like. But I also feel that the youth can also be occupied through their local council. Their local councils can put on programs like this during holidays that youth can actually carry on. Things the local council, I think the local council has all the department that can actually bring out programs that during holidays youths can be occupied so that they put the skills that they have learned in school into practice. Like my brother said on the other side of the panel, that why is it that some subjects like agriculture they are not taught in school, and if subject like agriculture they were subject in secondary school, maybe holidays like this we can say what you have learned in school you can now put it practical in the farm, especially when it comes to big farms like we are talking about mechanized farming. It will be also a way of seeing that the present educational system that we are dealing with, which is the competent-based approach, which is how to bring out competence in the children, can be put into practice. So, but what is happening is, because of the fact that the economic aspect of it, you always have holiday classes, and like we are saying, all of us in this on this panel, we are saying the educational system warrants this, because we are interested in seeing that our children tomorrow have 10 A levels with A grades. But what doctor has asked, and which is very true, is what can you do? And I usually tell my students at times that minus saying what can you do, like doctor has said, if somebody that has come out of school wants to put school into practice, it will always be different. Like I say, if you say tell a student that after your advanced level, can you roast maize, the student will say, I cannot do that. it's like belittling what I have done. It's like but I have always said that
if you look at the money the base seller is making a day, it's huge.
If you want to, what you have said, added value.
Yes, the added value.
If you want to bring the education now that you have gotten from school, the way you roast your own maize will be different.
The environment
and everything.
Condition.
There's one guy that I met. I don't know. This guy is no more there. The guy was on Facebook everywhere. And what was he doing? He was selling by his granite, and everybody was amazed the way he was dressed, the suit and everything. And when you buy a cup of granite, he issues you a receipt. And that attracted people, and he was making his money. He's putting education now in practice. So I think the holiday classes, I'm not for it. We should try to see that we send our children to learn skills.
Nick, at the computer age, where we are looking about digitalization, we still send our kids to go and study A, B, C, D, E, F, G. While the kids in China at the kindergarten are learning how to cook, are learning how to wash dresses, are learning how to carry out practical skills. Our own are learning. Mom is a good mother, daddy is a good father. And we expect different results.
Yeah.
We're out of time briefly.
So it is, as the blame still go back to the parents. Because if as a parent, if you look at the ecosystem of any place or any country, you as a parent should be able to orientate your child, should be able to bring your child up in a way that the child will be useful tomorrow. If you've had children, your bigger children have gone to school, they don't have job, and the younger ones, you are still training them in that same way. How do you expect that tomorrow there will still be a change? So it goes to the parents that they should be able to train their children. Yes, allow your children to go to school, go and learn how to speak grammar, but during holidays, allow them to learn skills that are money oriented, that are beneficial. Okay. Yeah, I talk from a practical example. That's what I do. What I do today, nobody even knew that I went to general education. Yeah, so I'm into solar energy. I did not learn that in general education. I just learned by the theory there, but the practical was not taught. So, but I had to develop myself into it, and that's what it gives me more money than even my main job that I do.
There's another problem with that.
So education even at the level of teachers, the teachers also should be able to learn skills.
Yeah, correct.
You know, don't just wait for holiday class, go and teach 1 month holiday. How much money will you make from it? Take your time, learn a particular skill. You see that in your teacher of 5 years, maybe you have learned a skill. That skill can then transform you, and then you not have this victim salary mentality all the time. Yes. And you'll be able to better orientate the students you are teaching. Yeah. Because when you are not a mentor as a teacher, you become a philosopher to them. Yeah. Yes, you train students that will not
that explain why we have economic teachers who are poor.
Yeah, that's economics. No, people that education, they have passed through education, the education has not passed through.
Good afternoon, House of Commons. I am actually enjoying the program, especially Dr. Ningwanyam. I wish to have him as my mentor. I am Basil from the University of Bamenda. Doctor, thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you very much. Just to say that, yeah, we are going through a difficult period in our lives now in this nation, and we have the opposition, we have the CPDM, and we have a third option that will solve our problems in the nation, that we call the progressive CPDM. It's a hybrid between the opposition and the current CPDM, and it's more about changing the system, changing the mindset, using technology, bringing good governance, and doing things God's way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, also Mr. Azia, for coming.
Thank you also very much. It was my pleasure. I just want to use the opportunity to greet 1 or 2 persons. I want to salute all the friends of friends there in the Southwest region, Mr. Vitalis, Cham Gibet, Gamini Joseph, and Dr. Elongo William.
Okay, thank you very much also, Nick.
Okay, so thank you also for having me.
And congratulations to you, you had a bouncing baby boy.
Okay,
your wife gave birth last week.
Thank you also. Yeah. And thanks to our fellow listeners for watching our final time to watch. It is always our pleasure to clarify the public about what are the happenings and to provide solutions in order to move our nation forward. Thank you.
Thank you all those who took our time to participate. Thank you, Dr. Ningwanyam. Thank you, Mr. Azia. Thank you, Mr. Anu. And those of you who want to participate in the program, you can contact us in the number on your screen. Those of you who want to get Dr. Nick's Ngwanyam number at the end of the program, or ask for his permission, if you so desire, then I will send you his number, because a lot of you have been asking it at my inbox that I should send it to you. And this program comes every Sunday at exactly 12 to 1:30 p.m. I leave you with this. No matter the matter, what matters is your matter. And what should matter for you this holiday, you should look for an added value. As a journalist, what else can you do? Don't just say I can report news. If there are no news reports to do, what else can you do? As a cameraman, don't say I can manage camera. What else can you do apart of camera that can give you resources? If you are a teacher, what else can you do apart of teaching? If they say schools are closed, what else can you do? My name is Tamai Jabs of Cameroon's Commercial.
Professor in the university,
what else can you do? Bye bye.
Yeah, finally.